Okay, so it's always fun as a designer, and especially as a text designer, to use and be inspired by existing forms. So I've got all of these references to help inform how I design Zelda Airlines. I think I like that better than Link Airlines. So I'm going to make a reference folder, just like we did when we were compositing for landscapes. But this time, these are just inspirations. I'm not going to composite any text here, because text should be designed as vectors. And typographers design new fonts as vectors always. All right. So I've got a nice mix here of inspiration. Now, I know I want Zelda Airlines. I'm going to go to a site that is linked on your assignment sheet for this, and it's called Dafont, DAFONT.com. And this site, it's a very simple site, and it links to other font sites with your search and pay font sites. But this is a free font site. So designers that just want to get their work out there, font designers, typographers, and these are the last three that were added, will put up their designs, right? And these are beautiful kind of script designs, and one that looks like it's done with makeup. But that's not what I'm looking for, because it has nothing to do with Zelda Airlines. So I want you to sketch and kind of know your approach and know your references before you start looking for an existing font design to modify. And sometimes it can be really easy. Like if I know I want something graffiti based, I can just type in graffiti under search. And it, especially if I spell it correctly, I can see different examples. Even misspelled, I can see different examples. Because there are so many options, right? So these are all fonts that have graffiti in their name somewhere. That doesn't mean that all graffiti fonts always have graffiti in their name. Some are outline, stroke-based fonts. Some are scripts. Some are blocky. Some are drippy. And so if I want a graffiti kind of font to modify, I have a lot to look from, and I have multiple pages. I don't want graffiti, though, for this. I want something more like, let's look at the themes. I want it kind of modern. So this is just searching modern. And you see there's just tons. At least 24 pages of it. So let's start in the middle. And some modern fonts, they usually are sans serif fonts. This one's kind of interesting. So I'm going to open that in a new tab, Cursive Vertex. And I'm thinking that that might be interesting for the airlines part. So instead of it just being a generic script, this is like a script, cursive, that's done in that kind of medieval angular way. And I'm just going to preview it. So that's what airlines would look like in the default settings of this text. It's an idea. I'm not totally won over by it. That's just one page. So I don't know why it's called Not Mary Kate, but this one is pretty similar to the Zelda fonts. But I actually really like this one too. And I'm curious what this would look like with stronger lettering, like all capitals, Zelda, and then I'll do an all lowercase airlines. Whoops, turn off my caps lock. Now the goal here is to find an existing font that you can modify. I actually like how airlines looks there better than Zelda. So I'll keep those open. See the not Mary Kate, let's just look for Zelda here. Yeah, that Zelda looks pretty compelling. That might be a good one to work with. Now you can spend a lot of time trying to find the perfect existing fonts to modify. And these are all free for you to use for your projects. But as soon as you get close, the actual work of this project is to know how to modify existing vectors and make them into your own font solution. I don't want the font to overtake my image. I want it to support my image. And actually, when I'm looking at these, I go for simplicity over most things. So like this, nice and simple. You see how that looks. Yeah, not quite right. Looks like a heavy metal album, which I think is the whole point. So I have that Zelda, which I like. I have that Airlines, which I like. I have that Zelda, which I think I like best. That Airlines, which might actually work really well with this Zelda. And maybe there's even an airline kind of inspired font. Let's see. Haha. Not many. Got these. So let's look at the themes again. And let me just find a script. Or, yeah. Cursive, maybe. See if there's anything that's more interesting than that, because that's pretty crazy. But I like it. Script fonts are tough because they have to be spaced so that they can actually link into each other. Yes, there's a lot of handwritten scripts, but I don't like those as much. But this is kind of nice, this Italian cursive. Let's see what it can do. Just for airlines. Ooh, I like what it does with Zelda, actually. Yeah, so that might be a good airlines. So once you kind of think you know what you want, and you can download quite a few, I'm going to download this one for airlines, even though I don't like what it does with the E. And this font has uppercase solutions and lowercase solutions, which is very nice. But you notice it doesn't have italicized or anything like that. But I'll show you what we can do to work with that. And I've downloaded it, and now I'm going to go to my downloads folder. This is on a Mac. Open it up in Finder. Arrange it so I'm looking at the date files were added. Scroll to the top, and I'll see a zip file for that font. I open the zip file just by left-clicking, double-clicking. We'll open up a folder. I open that. I find the TTF or a similar looking file type to this. I double-click on that, and it will install it onto my computer's font book. So I hit install. And now with that name, and I'm going to keep this open so I remember, I know that Italian cursive is available. So it's going to show up here as a font in my different programs. In my word processing programs, but also in Illustrator and Photoshop. All right, next one. So it is getting fonts. Yeah, I like this one a lot more actually than this one. So I'm not even going to mess with that one. Now the Zelda though. I like that. And I like that one. Let's see. So let's see them side by side. Zelda like that, or Zelda like this. Remember, I will be modifying these. And I like this. This reads better. It has more interesting negative space between. It's made to be set closer to each other. So that's what I'm going to go for. So I'm going to download that, not Mary Kate. Go to my downloads, open it in the Finder, all that good stuff. Scroll to the top. Double click on the zip file, it opens up a folder, or sometimes just the TTF. Double click on that, it will install it. Say install. So I think that will be fine. Let's hope it works. Not Mary Kate, there it is. Very good. So I'm going to keep this open just so I can see the two I'm using. I'm using Italian cursive and I'm using not Mary Kate. Those are the two names I'll look for in my programs. Just minimize that. Minimize my font book as well. Okay, now how do I get started? Well, I'm not going to use Photoshop, so I'm going to now save this Photoshop file as something else, because this is now for assignment 8. So I'm going to call it Carl Assignment 8 Poster. And we'll go back to it. Save it to the desktop. Now, I am going to be showing you the most expedient way to design fonts. But the way I do it in professional practice very often is I'll just sketch out what I want for the font, as I did here, and then I will make a vector of it, as I did here. And so I developed a pretty complicated font solution for this Earth Day poster. And it was developed the exact same way I did line work for my spot illustration. By sketching, let me see if I can even show it to you. By sketching and then inking and then running it through Illustrator to vectorize. Yes, so let me see. So this is a spot illustration that's made around text. And it was just all done by hand. Sketched and inked by hand. So if you want that, and that would be especially true for like psychedelic kind of concert posters, which is this is supposed to kind of represent. But I did a sketch like this. You can see the pencil and everything. Combined it with this kind of vector I made, and then worked it together into a final vector design, just like we did for the line work of our spot illustration. La 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 la. And what's great about that is that works really well. I think this will be the final t-shirt design we do for Earth Day 2017. It works as a spot illustration and a text solution all at once, integrated. You see how the C is kind of a ring around the Earth with little planets or stars, moons, and then it just goes out from there. So you can do hand-done text as well, but the important thing is, just like line work, is that it's a vector. So it's super clean at any size. All right, and then for this year's poster design for Earth Day, I just made the spot illustration into font designs. So kind of made the NLC Earth Day all out of crazy earthy stuff like feathers and snails and flowers and twigs and things like that. And then I kind of hid the 2016 in the negative space here with vines.